now.
Hey.
How we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I actually just stepped outside and I did notice that it's not as thick and muggy as yesterday. So I think I'll end up doing something
Yeah,
outside today. A walk, a bike ride, something, right?
we're doing okay out there. I honestly, and I'm glad you said that because I've been saying for a while that it's not going to feel so bad out there. But we still do have dew points in the 60s. They are dropping though throughout the day today, so that's good news. Sunny skies outside right now, and really we're in store for a real nice couple of days here with more moderate dew points, just things that you can deal with. Temperatures in the 90s, a little bit cooler near the lakefront. But we will get to about 90 today. The dew points, again, will lower throughout the day today. It looks like we're good tomorrow, even though it's going to be hot. But the humidity starts to come back on the 4th of July and in through the weekend, with temperatures rising into the middle and upper 90s next week, with heat indices approaching and surpassing perhaps over 100. That's what it feels like outside in the middle parts of next week with scattered storms. You can't rule out rain any of these days, but it looks like it's going to be a dry 4th of July and tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
Good
We'll be
news.
staying tuned for that, John. Thank you so much. Let's get to some of our top stories. Jeffrey Epstein's longtime friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been arrested in New Hampshire. Now, she's the first to be criminally charged in connection to Epstein's child sex trafficking case. Maxwell is facing charges of conspiracy and perjury for allegedly helping Epstein recruit and groom underage girls for sex. Epstein died by suicide last August while awaiting trial. Maxwell is expected in federal court this afternoon.
The Supreme Court says it will consider if Congress can see the full Mueller investigation report. If it's given the okay, it could reveal how involved Russia's interference was in the 2016 presidential election. However, the Justice Department has been fighting to keep that information from the public. The High Court isn't expected to hear the case until at least late fall, meaning lawmakers won't be able to read it until after this year's election. I mean, first we had the redacted information, right? And then now we get a little tease of what is yet to come later on this year. Just things that need to kind of speed up a little bit. You know how the court system works. So
Yeah, conveniently after election season.
Well, that's the schedule of it. It's a big win for the Justice Department, meaning that stuff's going to be hidden away for a bit. And this is about a separation of powers fight. This is not the last one of these we're going to have in the near future on what Congress is entitled to see. We're still awaiting whether we're going to get a tax records fight on the president's case. And this is your checks and balances working as it's supposed to work, even if it's a little slower than you want. So,
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's bring in our next guest. He grew up in the burbs, honed his comedy at Second City, and now is a cast member on SNL. Chris Redd joins us to talk about comedy in quarantine and, of course, his COVID-19 protest relief fund. He's always doing such awesome things in the community. Chris, how's it going?
Good. I'm sitting in the corner of my room, hanging out.
Chris,
Well, things could be worse.
Chris, last time we interviewed you, we took you up in the newsroom on what we called Studio D. Now we're talking in our bedroom. So here we go.
Hey man, I'm just excited to see where the next interview is gonna be at.
The janitor's closet. We're gonna check out. We're really gonna scrap the bottom for you.
Yeah.
I think we were directly in front of your desk, D.
Yes.
He was doing real work. We were just.
you know what? I wasn't going to come at you, but since you came at me first, I texted you saying how excited I was about interviewing you, and you left me on red.
Because
wow.
it was early in the morning. I'm not good in the mornings. I was dreading this, and this is 11. I love y'all like that.
No, I'm just messing with you. But of course, you have to tell us, how has this quarantine been for you? Because obviously you're a people person. We all are. You love being out in the community, communicating with everyone. This has been a hit, obviously, for mental health as well.
Yeah. I'm in therapy. I believe in therapy. I think it's sexy. But it's just trying to find ways to really like reach out to people and stay vigilant, but also like setting my priorities and checking myself and how and what I was getting from the world. It was like keeping me busy. SNL at home was really good for that too, and just staying creative. But like just having deeper conversations and taking time to really like get to know people and checking in with people was helpful for me. But this is hard, man. Like half of what I love to do is gone. So, or was gone. I mean, now they're in New York doing outside shows, and you might do that. But, the clubs are just dead for now, and so to not have comedy has been really tough. Like, so I use Twitter now. I'm a Twitter comedian. I'm a YouTube influencer. So that's where I put my time.
You're also a clapback king. You are not holding back in the comments.
Well, I have nowhere to roast. I can't roast anymore because the roasts are dead too for now. So all this energy is just pent up, and people like to get on comments, and I have the time. Like before, I didn't have time. Now I have time, and I'm petty. So I'll catch a couple comments every now and then.
We saw the SNL episode, a quarantine episode, and that has literally summed up all of our lives and everything that we've been going through.
Oh wait, which one?
I liked them both.
One I saw particularly with Zoom. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. No, the Zoom one was great. I think that we've all been there and done that. I was really impressed by the episodes. Number one, I don't think people who've never done any comedy or theater realize how hard that is to do. And to make it like so relevant, it felt like a real, like SNL is. It's a mirror of what we're living like in real life, and a commentary on that. I just thought it was great.
Well, thank you, man. I thought I was shout out to those editors, man. Like I always knew they were great because I worked with a lot of them on a lot of the music videos and stuff like that. But man, they shined in like the SNL at home with the way they put stuff together, and like all those. I mean, there were so many Zoom sketches. Because we were all our lives just got shifted to Zoom. I don't think Zoom was even ready. I think it was like two people in an office, like nobody was ready for that. I wanted to do a sketch because I had like one of the first Zoom birthday parties in quarantine because my birthday was on March 25th. We locked down, I think March 12th or something like that. I was in the house way before that though, like March 9th or whatever. And it was like 45 to 50 people on this birthday party Zoom. No one knew how to Zoom. So like no one knew how to mute. One of my aunts and my uncle was like DJing. And my mom had this whole program she set up. No one knew how to mute. So it was like, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. That just went on for 10 minutes. And there were so many kids. And then they all tried to sing happy birthday, but no one counted it in. So everybody was just like singing a different version of happy birthday. It was absolute chaos.
Well, you got the internet delay too. However, though, you got to be grateful that it was so many people in your Zoom call.
Yeah, it was dope. No one had the Rona, and everybody was together but apart, and it felt good. It felt good. I think those things are nice to have sometimes.
So you kind of mentioned that you have editors. What's the pre and post production look like for SNL right now?
Well, we're off for the summer. So right now, I don't know what they don't know. But it was so much work. You had to get everything in by like Wednesday so that they had time to just edit things. I think they were bringing in editors. We were all kind of learning as we go. So it was just cool to see. I mean, it felt weirdly relaxing, but also stressful because like we're not built to like, these actors. We're not built to like do all this. That's why I say shout out to all the YouTubers, like the real ones, not the ones, not me pretending to be one, but like how they are able to just do all of this and pump out material all the time. It's crazy because I'm not a good caterer, dude. I was hungry on set all the time. I'm set dressed. I was running out of space to shoot stuff. I was like, yo, they're gonna see this green couch every episode because I don't know where else I'm gonna shoot this.
So I noticed that they got progressively, I don't want to say better, I think they were good from the start, but like, did they have people like send you over some props or some makeup or some extra lighting? Because by the second one, I was like, oh man, the production quality is a little better here.
Yeah, they would send like robes. They would send us some stuff if they knew what sketches that were gonna go in. We had a lot of stuff at home because we're weirdos. But there's also like stories of, I think one of the writers got Heidi a wig and they met on a bridge and she tossed it to her like at 6 feet. It was like there's mad stories of like different things. I didn't get it. I think I was pretty much bald in all of it because I wasn't leaving my house. But and I didn't have any wigs, but I did use a shirt as a do-rag, so that was tight.
However you got to do it, man.
You know you've done that before. Don't act like that's the first time.
I'm not. Look, yeah. It just I hadn't done this in a while.
Chris, you mentioned that obviously you have a little bit more time now, whether it is to respond to comments and kind of instigate, right, a debate online. Have you noticed, or did you realize any other talents that you have, or that you didn't realize perhaps that you were good at?
Any talents? Raising money fast.
Yeah.
I learned pretty decent at that. I like to. I bought a mic, so I like to make a lot of like a lot of demos and little fake albums that you'll probably never hear in your life. I made a lot of playlists, a lot of playlists. I don't know if there's anything like I didn't know about myself that I was already doing. I just had like a lot more time to read. And I feel like when I talk about this, I sound like I was in jail. I'm just reading, I'm writing, you know what I'm saying? I was doing a push
pumping that iron.
You know what I mean? Yeah, bro, staying focused up in here. So when I get out there, I'm
yeah. Writing letters, yeah.
But just having more time to do the things I like was good. Oh, I played Call of Duty for the first time for real. I'm really good now. So that's the thing. Nothing impressive though. Like outside of the GoFundMe, nothing I've done in here has been impressive.
Well, that GoFundMe is impressive enough. Let's talk about that. Is it over like 250K that's been raised?
Yeah, we're at 360K.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really heartwarming and to see so many people care.
Yeah.
It also was scary because I was like, how am I going to get this money away?
Yeah. So the audience knows it's a protest relief fund, a COVID-19 protest relief fund. What specifically is the money going to be used for?
It's for testing, for treatments, for protesters because of all the body-to-body contact, for injuries that you acquire while protesting, for bail relief fund as well. And I basically created a mutual aid fund within like 3 weeks, which was a lot of, I was in school the whole time, talking to a lot of activists and organizers who are already on the ground doing this, kind of building a network just to be a resource for them. So I've met a lot of organizations that I really like, and we're still meeting with more. And we basically work as a just like a bank for organizations to come and send the people that have been out there fighting the good fight and be able to just have some relief towards their bills. So we're looking to start giving out money on Monday. So I'm real excited about that.
Wow, that's awesome. Good work with that, man. We got a couple comments too about your HGTV appearances for House Hunters. I can't wait to watch. I have to admit I haven't seen it yet, but just the premise of it it's almost like a little Mystery Science Theater 3000, like with House Hunters. So how'd you get started with that? Because it's you guys offering commentary on what the hell is happening in House Hunters?
Yeah. So I guess a lot of people watch House Hunters.
Yes.
I don't. I get it now though, and I do now. But I hadn't watched it before. But like Dan and Natasha had hit me up and like, yo, you want to do this show? We just watch House Hunters and roast it. I'm like, yes. I've been looking for things to roast. I've been looking at the comments, and that's getting so boring. And so it was just so fun to watch these people and you like end up rooting for them to find the thing that they want. But they're like so interesting, and so it was great material to roast and be with your friends, even if it wasn't like in the same room. Just being in the same, it just felt like you're kicking in at the comedy club again, and just talking about shooting. I'm trying not to swear. That's what's happening. I'm like, the things I want to say I can't. I'm like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's the internet, so a lot of things happen on the internet.
Yeah.
But I think it's so true. Yeah, I think it's so funny though, what these people do for a living on House Hunters. You're always like, wait, what? Yeah. How is that even a career? And how are you able to afford this $1.2 million home?
He's like, I'm looking for dark, rustic, mystic. I'm like, what is that, man? Are you looking for dark magic? What are you looking for? And then I didn't know so many people got in the tub. Now I made fun of this guy because he test drove his tub, and I made fun of that. And people were like, oh, I get in the tub. I don't any of y'all, when y'all like shopping around, do y'all get inside?
No, I can look at it and imagine my life there. That's
you've
all
been
I
in the
need.
tub before. You don't gotta.
I don't know. I turned on the shower. I wanted to see what that shower pressure was like. I used I want to make sure that toilet. I don't want any problems when I walk in. I don't want to have to fix anything. It's better be ready for me.
No,
Yeah,
this is why
man.
we don't ask John. Chris, the people in the comments aren't letting this demo go, so you might have to bring out some music here.
Man, they're gonna regret it. No, I'll drop something. I think
You said what?
I'll drop some fire for the streets.
Okay.
I'll drop some fire. No, I use it a lot to write some stuff that I'm gonna hopefully get on the show. But I got some plans. I might release a little something.
What are you like talking about in your rap, in your music?
See? Everything and nothing. I have. They're very silly. I have one that is about. I shouldn't even say this. I have one that's about a ghost that's in my house, but he's not haunting me, and he's acting like I'm in the way, and it's a very unbothered ghost.
That needs to be a sketch. That needs to be a sketch.
Well, it's hopefully it will be both a song sketch. Yeah. But I should probably give no more good sketch ideas on the show.
No, I know. I was gonna say, because that's something we can all relate to. I don't know about you guys, but since I'm obviously spending more time at home, I hear stuff.
Right?
Like I feel stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let it. Nope, not gonna let it do anything.
You heard stuff before now, so let's.
And now I pay attention to it. Before I was like, oh, gotta go.
That's where that thought came up. I agree with you, because I would hear stuff all the time, and I'm like, is someone in the house? Is it a ghost? And I'm like, well, what kind of unbothered ghost would this be? If he's just like making noise, but because my place is not that big, so he's just in my house making noise, like but not doing
What you don't know is you're in his house.
Right, exactly. I moved in. He been there. Right.
Hey, I gotta ask you, just because we're here in Chicago, and unfortunately we had the news that IO was shutting down, and I know you did a lot of stuff with Second City. And you were part of that letter sent to Second City, kind of an open letter about how, black artists have been treated, black comedians have been treated on and off at the Second City. What kind of prompted you to join that letter? I know that the CEO resigned. Are you happy, or is there still a lot more progress that needs to happen at Second City and comedy clubs across the area?
Well, I think it was really cool of him to admit to the things that were going on in that institution. But I felt, along with a lot of people, that him walking away wasn't curing the problem, and we wanted to make sure that they understood that, like, just because this one man walks away doesn't mean the institution itself is just fixed now. Mm-hmm. So it was really a call to action for them, and being able to be like, look, this is how you really implement the change that you guys are going for. You can't just say, it's not enough to just say stuff. You got to take action.
Yeah.
And we thought it was the responsibility to the people coming up after us, that they have a world where they don't have to ignore certain things or deal with the things that we had to deal with. And I was on a call with generations of people. A lot of those people's names are on that list, and a lot of people that aren't on that list. And we had like a 4.5 hour Zoom called Sharing Stories, and some of the most heartbreaking stuff I've ever heard. Coming up in an improv place makes no sense to me. So it was a part of like my own things that I've dealt with there, but it was also standing with people who've dealt with much worse, Black women, and of all colors. And,
yeah. Viola Davis just talked about that in a clip that's going viral right now in an interview. I think, John, you said you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, Chris, but she was basically comparing her successful career. She's award-winning, multiple awards, and she's comparing her career to like a Meryl Streep, and how people say, oh, you're like a Black Meryl Streep. Well, no, she's Viola Davis. And also the difference of just having access to opportunity, access to roles, and different things that they can do. And people of color, people who are a talent of color, having access to that. I think that's right along the lines of what you're sharing right now, what you're addressing with Second City.
100%. Yeah, and I have seen that video. That video's been out for a little while, and I like that video a lot. And I like the points that she's making, but it's also, there's no but, actually. It's just an add-on. It's a systemic thing, and comedy's always mirrored America. It's always mirrored where we're at, where we're going through. And so if we're doing a pillage to the system, every system and every institution has to do their own work to keep up with that. So I'm glad they responded, and they responded wanting to address everything that we asked for, and that was really what it was about. Because I love that institution for what it was and what it brought me, and how I found comedy through it. And I think it's an important thing the city should have, but also no one should have some of these horror stories going into that place. And it's not my place to share other people's stories, but
right.
But no one should feel uncomfortable or feel like I was told by one of the teachers there when I got my first job that I was being fast tracked because I was Black, and you must feel lucky.
Wow.
And having comments said to you like that, or the thought process or the system treating you that way, and when it was not true, it's like you shouldn't have to go through all those things. There's enough tough stuff going on in the world.
For sure.
So in your opinion, Chris, what do we have to do? Because we've talked about resources, lack of opportunities, and I think all of us here have either felt it firsthand or know someone that has felt it firsthand. Where do we start? Because when you don't have those resources, when you don't have those opportunities, you can be pulled back, right? And then you won't get that recognition when you do make it.
I mean, I think it's about having these tough conversations that we have. I think it's about artists coming together and creating avenues of information. I think what we're doing right now is beautiful. Like protest, we got to stay healthy though. But protesting is beautiful. Finding different ways to fight, because there's going to be different phases of this. Getting educated on all the local information that you possibly can. I'm always looking for answers too. I'm looking for more ways to learn how to just be more effective in this. The GoFundMe was one of those things where I was heading down here to see my pops, and he's high risk, so I knew I couldn't be in the streets. So I was like, well, and I kind of felt like I wasn't doing enough, and I was like, well, maybe I can just start a relief fund. So maybe I could just starting to think about different ways to affect change. And I think if everybody does that a little bit, just a little bit more than you usually do, I think we're all going to be headed towards a good direction. And like listening to people, listening to the most oppressed, and listening to the issues, and trying to figure those out, you know?
Yeah. It seems like I just love watching you and your career because I see all the great celebrity fun stuff. Of course, you sharing your talent, doing your thing, but I always see you talking about some real stuff too. You know, you have not forgotten where you come from. I know you're talking about being in family in Mississippi right now, but you know, you come back to Chicago and everything. And I want to know, how intentional is that for you? I just like that I see both in the headlines when it comes to Chris Redd.
Well, that's dope. I'm glad that comes off.
You're like, oh well.
Yeah, well, because I mean, I think it might come from imposter syndrome. No, but I've been I've just been real. Yeah, I've been broke more than I've been anything else. So that's not too super true, but it kind of is. Yeah. It's hard to forget those years when it was so much part of your life. You know, I didn't really get my first opportunity for real until I was like about 30. So you know, and I didn't have any real money until I was like 31. So like, it's really hard to forget where you come from when you're a full man, a full grown adult. But my family is a big part of my life. They always have been, and my community, my people. I just care about people. I love people. I want to see people do well, and I want to stay connected as I can. And my job already takes me away from people's lives a lot because I'm always on tour. I'm always busy. One thing the pandemic was good for was sitting my ass down so I could I gotta reprioritize life, not leave good people like D on red, you know what I'm saying? Better all around. Yeah. It is super intentional to come back here, and I mean, this is the longest I've ever been home in Mississippi since I was a kid. So it's just really I hope you see more of that.
Yeah. How do you do that? Because like, you're at the point in your career where everyone's saying grind, go for it, you know, push, do everything, go everywhere, like, you know, do every show. Like, you're at a really awesome time in your career. So how do you have that balance where you need to kind of reprioritize what's going on?
I'm still working on it. Okay. But I think that, right, I've always been grinding. Like, that's kind of always been my thing. And I always like worked really hard like I didn't have anything or I could lose it. And there's a detriment to that. And so I think that when you reprioritize and you get the rest that you need, you can hustle more strategically and more effectively. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is hustle as effectively as I possibly can, but like making time for family, because this time flies, man. And I think that the pandemic is literally the thing. I think it was the universe's way of making us all sit down for a second.
Yeah.
So it was impossible for me not to come out of this with a clearer mind and just being more. I can't think of the word. Just being more
intentional.
Yes, there it goes.
Yeah, woo! I got a lot of words here.
Boy, I'm gonna hit you up for some more.
Hey, Chris, but we got to be real, okay? Because when I first moved back home, being with the family, because you're not used to it, was it kind of like, all right, guys, I need my space. Give me a second. Hold on. Or, did you miss it so much that you just, were all in?
Well, I was in New York for 3 months in a 1-bedroom. So I did not have that. I didn't like, I think I felt that energy when people would call all the time. Because the first month was like, oh, I like being by myself, because I genuinely enjoy my own space and time. But when people were just like not working and calling all the time to talk all the time, like, oh my God, I can't have these many conversations. But after 3 months by yourself, your brain almost breaks. So I ran down here, man. We did a road trip, and I was walking around the house just like no reason, just loved having the space.
Yeah. I mean, what they got you doing? Cutting the lawn? You got to do the dishes?
Man, they didn't try to have me do.
They
didn't try to have me do stuff, man. I'm not doing no. I take the trash out. I feel like you revert back to who you were as a child. So I take the trash out as soon as it gets full. I take the trash out. I gotta go do the dishes right after this. Yeah.
You can't leave the house until you clean your room.
Nah, I'm not leaving the house no way. So maybe that's why my room ain't clean. I don't know.
Hey, have they told you anything about SNL in the fall?
Now if they did, I can't tell y'all.
Oh, come on.
Okay. No, not yet. But I mean, right now it just looks like everything's gonna move how it's supposed to, and all be dependent on, of course, Corona. But everything seems on schedule. But no one knows. It's like anything in the business right now. Like it's like this. No one really knows. But everybody has the intention. Yeah.
That's my word.
Felicia, you can loan them out, girl. Come on. Well, Chris, it's always awesome to chat with you. We really appreciate you giving us so much time today. And
of course,
never be a stranger. We always love how down to earth you are, how real you are. And that's why we love chatting with you, man.
Well, I love y'all, man, for real. And y'all have me back anytime. I have so much stuff to talk to y'all about all the time.
I'll see you in the janitor's closet when you come to the studio. All right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Or on top of Dee's desk.
Yeah, well. Okay, we'll leave it at that. All right, Chris, take it easy. And you can follow up with Chris, of course. Great follow on Twitter and Instagram there, too. There's all the information. And the website to the relief fund that he's doing, which is awesome, especially when you are with folks and you don't want to, you got to figure out something you can do to help other people. Yeah, that's
$300,000 they've raised.
I loved how quickly he corrected you, by the way.
It was
You're like, what's it, 250? He's like, 360, girl.
It was an update.
All right. Well, a global health policy expert and mom are going viral for a very relatable interview on BBC News. Let's take a look. Here it comes.
And we're improving our systems as a result.
Yes, so that's so we're hoping so, and it's a learning process. So now we're moving to this new approach of these local lockdowns. It's part of the learning process to really understand how this is happening. Now, quite honestly, this should have happened a long time ago, in my opinion. But here we are in this situation, and so how can we improve it for the inevitable lockdowns which might come further down the road? We've seen the statistics saying the other hotspots of concern might be in Barnsley and Bradford, and so how can we make sure that they're getting the right data now so we don't have this problem again?
What's your daughter called?
She's called Scarlett.
Scarlett, I think it looks better on the lower shelf. and it's a lovely unicorn. It's a lovely unicorn. Okay, so obviously,
Wait, what's his name?
and do stop me if you need to crack on. Do tell us.
What's his name?
My name is Christian.
What's his name?
His name's Christian.
Christian.
Yes.
I'm just deciding where it can go where Mummy wants it to go.
Oh, right. Where does Mummy want it to go?
I think just on that shelf is great. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I love
Oh my gosh, I am so glad that my dog doesn't talk. Like, otherwise, I would not have a job. I don't think.
Now, that fully embodies what a working mom is going through right now. And all of us have had these little interruptions in our lives.
Enrique's obsessed with watching news bloopers. I hate watching them, just knowing that I will be on one day if I haven't already, and that makes me uncomfortable. But yeah, the last couple months have all been at home ones, and the BBC is like notorious for this. They even had one. Remember that one with the girl who like came in and the wife tried to get the baby out? That was long before all this. But normally the BBC anchors are so like, oh no, we have to keep it serious. I'm glad that one had some fun with it. Like, who cares? Let's just have some fun, even if it's a serious subject. Crap happens when you're at home. So just embrace it. Have fun with it.
That's the blooper that you want to have, John. You don't want to have some of the other ones we've seen.
I'm surprised I haven't been on more of the places I've been and the things and the dresses I've worn on television.
Oh Lord, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Here at home, like if my parents or my brother has to say something to me, I'm literally facing the hallway to my kitchen. So they'll just give me like hand signals. And I'm looking at you guys and I'm over, like under my computer. I'm like, okay, like get out of my peripherals because I cannot concentrate. Alrighty, everyone. So we're going to keep it moving and we're going to bring in our next guest. Since 2016, Star Farm Chicago has grown and distributed over 20,000 pounds of fresh organic produce to Chicagoans. We're talking to Hero of Chicago, Stephanie Dunn, about her work with the organization. Stephanie, hello, how are you? Oh, it seems like we're getting her.
There's Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey. Sorry, I'm like flashing money. It was donation money for food.
Where are we? What are we looking at here?
Oh, you know what? We're actually, we kind of have a little bit of Wi-Fi in the farm here. So this is some of our crew getting together a bunch of produce. We deliver.
Well, she really did need a little bit of Wi-Fi.
She's coming to us live on the scene.
With a little remix.
Of,
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Stephanie, sorry, we lost you a little bit. I think when you move around a bunch, it makes it harder.
I'm going to a place where there's a stable connection, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay. She said, hold on.
Yes. I'm trying to get there.
I love it. This is so cool. Since 2016, you guys have grown and distributed over 20,000 pounds of fresh organic produce to city residents. What has inspired all of this philanthropy?
We're just a team of, neighborhood residents. A lot of our staff are from the community here and grew up here, growing food for themselves and their families. And we just decided to kind of organize and collect our resources together and see what we could do as a team. And so we started Star Farm and just trying to bring more nutritious, high quality produce, to communities that just generally, don't have a Whole Foods. Like a Whole Foods would never visit there. So yeah, giving people more options than having to do their grocery shopping at like a gas station or a liquor store. So yeah.
Stephanie, I did a story about this not too long ago, just having access to fresh produce, fresh fruits, etc. It's really interesting because sometimes people don't know what to do with produce because they've never had access to it. Do you know what I'm saying? So where does that training come from? That advocacy of like, this is how you use this and this is what you would mix this with, because sometimes if you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah, you're super right. And that's a huge connection because it's one thing just to grow the produce, but if you're giving it to people and they don't know what to do with it, and then they're getting a feeling of waste by not using it, that's not the effect you want to have. We're lucky to have two chefs on our team. And they specialize in coming up with like culturally relevant recipes to share with our community. Every year we come out with like a community cookbook where we collect recipes from our neighbors and back of the yards and put them together, and we've got some great recipes in there. Definitely bridging that gap in getting creative with the produce. Learning how to make more than just salads. We want to have like fun, exciting, delicious, especially for like kids if they're picky eaters. We do a lot of chef demos in the garden. There's a lot of local food entrepreneurs here in the community. So we'll hire, Jasmine Smoothies, and she'll come and she'll do a demonstration in the garden on how to make smoothies and actually putting, like vegetables like kale or even salad greens into your smoothie. Other things like we've done some nasty stuff. I'm not going to lie. There's been some, we were really trying to get some kids to eat cucumbers one time, and the only way they would do it was with ketchup. So that did make it into the recipe book one year, ketchup with cucumbers. But that's how they enjoyed it. So, but yeah, you definitely hit a nail on the head. And I think the important thing is just for our garden and for other gardens, growing culturally relevant foods, and really talking with your neighbors about what they want to eat and what they would like to, grow with is important. So
where is the farm? Where are you guys located at?
So we're in the back of the yards neighborhood. So we actually have 3 garden locations here, and we're between 51st and Halstead and 51st and Damon. So we have a whole garden that's like a cut flower garden, which is our wellness garden that our Women and Children's program created. They came up with a business plan to help support their program by growing cut flowers and selling them at farmers markets. And then we have, our vegetable gardens. That's where we are, back of the yards.
What I love about it is the idea of when you teach someone to grow something and where it comes from. And I got to admit, like, till a couple of years ago, I did not have any form of green thumb, but just the act of going through a growing season, what that process is like. I mean, not only encourages you to find sustainable options for food, but healthier options. There's something about the teaching aspect of it that makes it way better than just, go pick out some produce at the grocery store.
Yeah, and everybody here in the community, many people come from backgrounds of farming. Like most people, when they see the garden, they'll say, hey, my grandma had a big garden, and then they sort of have this like really wonderful personal connection to gardening. And so we're just trying to like connect and like bridge that, there's been a big generational gap with like growing food, but we're trying to make it cool again,
Mm-hmm. Really, really cool. How can more people support you guys in your efforts and what you're doing?
Yeah, thank you for asking. We are really excited to receive a matching donation of $40,000 to open up a community-owned local foods co-op right here in back of the yards. So this is just the culmination of many years of work in trying to create more food security and food resilience, in an insecure community. And we received a matching donation for that. So, but if people want to go to our website, starfarmchicago.net, they can visit some of our programs, and there's a button right there to donate to urban agriculture programming. You can donate a CSA to a homebound senior household or a single mother household with school-aged children. That's only $150. You can also choose your own amount to donate to urban agriculture programming for adults with disabilities, for women, just supporting the general back of the yards community. Everything would really help.
Hey, Stephanie, I'm seeing here that you guys offer training, therapy, you're engaging local youth in after-school activities, summer programs, you have community events and all that kind of stuff. But how has the pandemic kind of shifted all of that?
Yeah, well, definitely a lot of our community partners had canceled a lot of their programming for their clients. So the same thing, reflected with us. So normally, yeah, we would be having lots of events and the garden would just be full of life, and every day different groups coming to the garden to learn and work and eat and have fun. But right now we're just focusing on bringing the garden to our clients bringing them the freshest chunk of the garden to their door, seeing them smile when we drop it off, bringing them flowers from the garden. We're partnering with Experimental Station. So we've been bringing 300 CSA bags a week to low-income households here on the South Side. And that's just the best that we can do. You know, we want people to know that they're still on our minds. The garden is there waiting for them whenever all this is over and restrictions can loosen a little bit. But right now we're just focusing on providing food for a lot of our food insecure households, a lot of our households that, you know, maybe they're homebound, they're trapped in not a very safe situation. So we just want them to know that we think about them, and we always attach a little love letter with the produce boxes, letting them know that, you know, what's happening in the garden and how we miss them, and bringing them some delicious vegetables and fruit.
How does it work? So obviously you have many partners. Are you talking about local grocery stores, distribution centers, farmers markets? How do people get their hands on what you guys are growing?
Yeah, they can order on our website. We accept orders on a rolling basis. So if you go to starfarmchicago.net, you can order produce for yourself. You can also order produce for somebody else. And we also, now that the farmers markets have opened up last week, we sell at 4 different farmers markets. We're at the South Loop Farmers Market, the 61st Street Farmers Market. We're at the Bridgeport Mars Market. And we're going to be at the Pilsen Market this weekend as well. So definitely trying to keep a lot of the produce on the south side, but we deliver citywide. And like I said, soon we're going to be opening up a brick and mortar storefront that's a local foods co-op here in the community. So hopefully soon people will be able to visit us year round and come pick up some delicious goodies.
Stephanie, that's amazing, especially for those community members that are living in those areas that don't have those resources or the information on how to kind of live a healthy lifestyle. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming on here. To follow Stephanie on Facebook and Instagram, you can go ahead and follow her at Stephanie Dunn 8318, and to learn more about Star Farm at starfarmchicago.net. Good information there.
I love hearing those. Always so many people in the community doing good things.
It's a thing, not having fresh produce, not even knowing what to do with it. It's literally a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sports in 60 here today. Not too much happening in the sporting world, as you imagine, except for Felicia boxing there in the corner. So a couple things here just today. First and foremost, the 2020 preseason for football is normally 4 games, right? And everyone complains about why they play 4 games. Why do you need 4 games to play? Well, because of everything that's going on, they've already announced that they're cutting it down to 2 games, which a lot of people feel like they're going to do permanently at some point anyways. But the first week and the last week of preseason have been scrapped. They're officially making the announcement here today with the league. So less fake games, which makes sense. Why congregate people a bunch of extra times if you don't need to?
It makes sense right now, but I feel like it would have made sense before too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole idea of preseason, of course, is not of course you get practice, but you also get to see the teams, what they're looking like this year, kind of testing it out. I think 2 can work.
Yeah, the problem you're right, but the problem is like preseason has changed so much. I think it used to be a lot what you're talking about, where you really test out these guys, but now with injuries taking an important part, and safety
exactly
an important thing. Most teams just sit everyone out anyways. I mean, I think was it 2 years ago Mitch Trubisky didn't play at all. I mean, there's
the better players we don't get to see at all
now, and so it's like, all right, well then what are you doing? And then normally the fans had to pay the same price as a regular season game as part of a season ticket thing. So the other news, which is kind of a bummer for Chicago, is that it looks like the NHL, when they're picking their 2 hub cities, they're just saying bye-bye to the U.S. entirely, and it looks like they're going to play in 2 Canadian cities, Toronto and Edmonton, which is funny because I never even considered that. I always thought they'd pick an American city and a Canadian city, but I imagine, this is me speculating, with where the cases are, even though they're good in Chicago here, the numbers are trending in the right direction, just you never know, and these games aren't supposed to start for another month. So I think that Canada, which has done, it's done better than we have at controlling this, to say the least. They want to just keep everyone there. And then also we talked about that crossing the border issue where Canada was going to still make players quarantine even if they came over for 14 days. So I think they're just going to get everyone to our neighbors to the north, play all the games up there, and we can all just watch on TV.
I'll go to Canada. That
Right.
could work.
I
I
was
mean, I
gonna say
think that's
Toronto.
what
There's
the
no
players-
fans, Felicia. You can't go there right now. You are.
I know, but I'm saying if I was a player, but I mean,
Yeah.
players are the ones that are supposed to vote on this, right?
No, I think the league's going to decide for them. There's going
I
to
was
be
gonna
no.
say, I don't
But they
think the
have to
players
have-
get to
But
say
they have to have
anything.
some sort of input.
They had input in the process and where the Hub City potential pool was from, but the league has the ultimate decision on what they're going to do. They had a voice in what the process would be for the playoffs, but not necessarily where the city is. I'm sure the players would have voted for Vegas, but that doesn't look like it's
Yeah,
happening.
I think it makes sense given the circumstance. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think we can see why they said that.
Makes sense to me. All right, that's Sports in 60, y'all.
Okay, now you know them from the legendary boy band New Edition. We got to welcome in Ralph Trevant and Johnny Gill. They're here to talk about their latest single, all things quarantine, how they've been doing, and of course the music industry. Hey,
How are you?
Johnny, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How's it going?
Oh, it's so
It's
good to
going
chat with you.
Man, hey,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Johnny.
no, I was just saying, I'm just hanging in there. How you guys making out with all this madness?
Good. We're doing okay. By the way, we're still waiting to connect to the audio of Ralph. Can we all take a look at his picture? Is that him frozen
Is that
on
where
the
he's
beach?
joining us from?
Yeah, that's him. Yep, that's him.
That's pretty chill. Well, I can't wait to hear if he's actually in that position right now or not. Let's see, next.
Well, I tell you, the other day we shot the video out there. That's where he lives, and we shot the video out that way.
Wait,
and that
where's
was the first time the video for All Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but where?
Oh, that's Oxnard. So I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've heard of Oxnard, but I've never been there. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking around going, well, damn, you been holding out on me?
Yeah.
This is pretty awesome. It's beautiful out there.
Johnny, where you hold up at?
I'm in stanky Beverly Hills.
That's not fair. See,
Hey, Ralph, we got you. We thought that was you frozen behind us, just kind of laying around back there.
Oh man, see, that was my stand-in. Just I should have started talking to him. I would have spoke to you.
You would have a stand-in that actually didn't surprise us.
That's funny.
So you guys
So
been
how
busy.
have you-
I had just got up and ran to the restroom. That's what happened. I was waiting in there. That's what really took place. You guys doing all right?
We're holding in there.
Yeah, we're doing good.
That's
we
good to hear.
were just checking to see how Johnny's been holding up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you don't want to know. I have a condo and I'm on the first floor, and I'm still thinking about jumping.
Don't say
Hey,
that.
listen, Johnny Gill has been cooking, vacuuming and cleaning,
You don't understand.
washing clothes. I mean, and I've never seen him do this in his entire life. We've been just shocked. I told Johnny the other day, I don't even know who you are.
Johnny, how did we get such a vast difference between the life of Johnny during COVID and Ralph? I mean, life of luxury. We got to even this out somehow here.
Yeah, this is horrible. And you know, the craziest thing, the reason why I tell you guys, I'm just turned 54. Washing dishes, I've never done. Cooking, I've never done. Vacuuming, mopping floors, never
Wait,
happened.
how? Is that because you saw success so early? Like, how have you
Pretty
never
early,
done it?
very early.
Okay.
Very early. When I left home, well, my mom used to do a lot of the stuff. I have three older brothers, and I never had to do the dishes, have to clean up the room. My mom did everything. And so when I left, I'll never forget, I left home around 17, I think 18. And my mom said, oh yeah, he'll be back. But I never did. I left and moved to California. And when I moved to California, I had a buddy of mine that was my roommate. So he took care and handled everything. So I just lived the life, and then from there it spiraled into greater success. And it's just
It's
I know I
hilarious.
shouldn't be
It's
telling
the
anybody,
funniest
right?
thing ever. Hearing
Yeah.
him give you recipes. And man, listen, I just tried this new such and such, and I blended with this. I was like, really? Is this Johnny Gill? I must have the wrong number. For real. I've never seen it before in my life.
Listen, I saw clips of the music video on you guys' Instagram, and it's true New Edition style. You got some pretty ladies on there. You guys are looking smooth and ready. I mean, where's this all coming from?
Trying to hold on to our youth. He's trying to act like we still got it. No, I did.
Yeah. I'm just trying to hold on.
Okay, we hear you now. Look
How
at
did
you
this
with the
come
pinstripe.
together
Who was that?
Together being separated.
Huh?
How did it all come together? How does it work when you're obviously you had the video you're talking about, but the song? Did you have a lot of this already done before COVID, or did you guys kind of collaborate during this process to try and make this all work?
This one was done before COVID. The one that we just shot Sunday, we just did that one. That's for Ralph's single All Minds was just done Sunday, and we had to make sure everything was on lockdown as we moved forward to get it done. And we had a great time doing it too, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. You guys were just talking about holding on, right? Keeping in tune with what's going on nowadays, what people are listening to nowadays, and the beats and all that kind of stuff. How do you stay relevant? I mean, you guys will forever always be relevant, but this generation, I'm saying this because my younger brother's 16, he doesn't listen to the type of music that I listened to growing up.
Wow. Staying relevant, I don't know. I think it's just about staying true to who you are. And I think for me, I listen to music. I love music. My key to, I believe, to why I never compromise the essence of who I am as an artist. I love different styles of music. I love different types of music, but I still make sure that in expressing myself from an artistic standpoint, that I never forget who I am, and allow the music and stuff to come and be built around me and let me do what I still do. And then you just watch and see how it goes. But I think it's just a number of ways you can do it. But being relevant is really just about, I think about staying true to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have actual talent. So I would say that's the first step. That's why
right.
You're relevant.
Thank you.
You have real talent. What do you think, Ralph?
I think Johnny hit it on the nose. For the most part, if you love music and you stand a part of the industry, we're always listening. You're never out of tune to what's going on, but being able to not jump on what somebody's doing new and try to stay true to what you've been doing and just add that freshness to it, just keep it current. And that way, I think that's what helps you stay relevant. Staying active, always being a part of the industry in some form or fashion, whether it's touring, whether it's helping to put other artists out, and you're in the studio around other people's jam sessions and things like that. You kind of see where it's going throughout the years. So you don't lose touch with the industry and the music and different expressions as it's growing and as it's changing. You don't want to just be away from it for 30 years and then try to jump back in it. So we've always kind of stayed a part of the industry and just stayed around artists, stayed around kept our love for the music industry and different genres and different artists. And so we can always tell what's happening now. We still listen to The Weeknd and Drake and people like that. So we understand they're out there and what they're doing, and we get what they've taken from the old and how they've made it new. So with that, we're able to stay relevant. I think that helps as well.
You guys miss performing live? You missed the crowds during this?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. At one point, because I stayed on the road so long and so much, we both do. So it's like, and then finally sitting at home for the first time in years this long. I don't think I've ever taken it for granted, but I just used to go when it was time to go and you hear the intro drop, you go, okay, another day at the office. Right. And now I'm sitting at home sitting here doing nothing. And all of a sudden I realize how much I miss what I do and how much I still have love for what I do. So it was kind of good to sit back now and to reflect. But if there was a point that had to be made, I'm trying to tell the good Lord, I got it, well taken. So let's get back to work.
I miss the fans, man. That energy and the crowd and interacting with them. And that's a big part of my life since day one. I stand outside of the tour bus after shows and stuff like that and just spend time talking to people and signing stuff. That's just how I do it. So not being able to do that right now is very, very tough. It's very hard. Yeah, this is going to be tough, and not knowing when it's going to be over, when you're going to get a chance to really do it, especially that way again. I don't know. That's a major part of it. I'm missing that. How
you guys still have people going crazy for you. You have people throwing stuff on the stage and throwing their undergarments on the stage. He still gets crazy.
They throwing rocks now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that's just stuff that they can't use no more. They want to throw.
What do do you think about like performing virtually and everything? We're all watching all these versus competitions. That's not really a competition, more of a celebration of music. But what do you think about performing virtually, and have you been approached about the versus?
Absolutely. It's something that we're going to have to consider because that's where it's going. At the end of the day, if we can't hit an arena or a nice venue somewhere, we're going to have to try to figure that out. But, I want to kind of wait till I see it where it's perfected a little better because there's some disasters, some go well and some don't. So I don't want to be a part of something when I'm trying to do what I do and all of a sudden the sound system goes crazy or the technical difficulties with the internet goes out. It's just different things that haven't come together with it all the way. But if presented the right opportunity, right time, and I know that all of those things, all those kinks have been knocked out, I'm there because I can't wait to perform.
I mean, we could just hear y'all and go a cappella. It would be good if y'all just did that. You don't need all the music and the fancy stuff. We just need you guys.
Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you.
But you know what? It's interesting. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, you go, D.
No, I was just going to say, you guys are talking about like being prepared, right? And going with the punches and making sure that you're ready for what's to come. And I think like social media, because like a lot of bands maybe have not taken advantage of that aspect of how to be socially present. I mean, have you guys kind of had to learn that through the process as well, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I just learned how to use Zoom the other day. It's
I got a background, by the way, for you, Ralph. That's
hey, look at this. All right, look at him, man. Okay, I feel like I gotta cover mine's up now. Nice.
Funny.
Yeah.
Didn't quite fit in the right way. Sorry,
Yeah.
you guys.
John, is that in your nephew's kiddie pool in the backyard?
Nice, John. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I didn't want you guys to see this mess in here. That's what's really going on. And to cover this junky place up.
Yeah, that's real too.
So I didn't mean to interrupt, guys.
So I want to know what's coming up next. I mean, what did you have on tap? Obviously, I know COVID has slowed a lot of stuff down, but were you guys working on some other stuff? I'm happy to see some of these new singles drop. That's what's up.
Yeah, I think the goal right now for us is just we want to continue to, we don't know what the outcome is going to be ultimately, but we do ultimately. If we believe and have faith, we know what that will be ultimately. But while waiting and as things get realign themselves, we just want to keep putting out great music because at this time, people can use great music. There's a lot of people that are in need. There's a lot of people that are uncertain about the future. There's a lot of people that are just in weird, different spaces in their lives, from relationships to a number of things. So I just think that we, obviously as servants, this is what we've been called to do. This is probably one of the most important times probably of our careers, to be able to keep putting out music and things that will put a smile on people's face, to make them feel good and to feel and be comforted to know that we're going to get through this process.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there an artist that you would like to collaborate with, work with, that you haven't yet?
Yeah, you think they could bring Michael back?
Okay. He is unmatched.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would be great, Johnny. That would be a good look. You know?
Yeah. What about today? I know you said you mentioned a couple newer people that you listen to, like The Weeknd and Drake. Would you ever want to do any collabs with some newer folk?
Absolutely. Those two guys would be on my list. I'm a Sade fan. I'm still going old school with it. So if I could do a duet with her, that would be a blessing before my time is over. But we just got to look. We've been looking around and talking to different people and just trying to see, we got friends in the industry, some of the newer cast as well. So we got to just see where it goes. At the end of the day, these guys don't want to work with these old dudes who don't have it anymore.
I can't believe that happens, okay?
We're just considered OGs, and OGs in our game is not celebrated. We're penalized a lot of times. People look at you and go, "Oh, it's OG," and it's like, but the reality is just that when you can be around in this game for a long time, that is absolutely a major accomplishment to become an OG. So I wear it proudly, but I just feel that at the end of the day, ain't nothing about us old, and we ain't old till our feet is cold. Other than that, we keeping it rocking.
That's right, baby.
Yes. Well, we're gonna keep rocking with you.
Plus, you can share with the kids that, hey, one day you'll be back doing dishes. So that's all that.
That's only because of COVID. He has a little
Right.
You guys are awesome. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Congratulations on all the success and good luck in the future, okay?
Thank you. All Mine is out on all platforms. Make sure you go out and get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're about to see it right here.
We got you covered right here. Ralph and Johnny Gill, All Mine, July 3rd. Catch it.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right.
Oh, they're so sweet.
Man, legendary. I think it's safe to throw around that adjective, right? When it comes to them.
Amen. All right, that'll do it for 11 o'clock. What we got coming up next, ladies?
Let's see. We'll be back at 2 p.m. talking about fake news with factcheck.org and YouTuber and singer Gabriela Carrillo. All right, guys. So tune in at 2 p.m.
See ya.